Millstone, for teaching us His word of truth and His sincerity for moving well. And salutations to our fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, preaching and prophesying in the name of Yahweh Bashim Hawashai. In the name of Yahweh Bashim Hawashai. Hey, I'm the brother Gabardi Howard. We got the elder Lamadia here. We got the young elder Shemaiwan here. Young elder Malak right here. I got the
Paradome.
My brother Paradome with us, man. And we just, this is our, we're going to do a quick impromptu lesson. We were all having a conversation in regards to America and the so-called American dream that, the vast majority of our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, you come over here and you think that you're going to receive and live. And it's just not true. And when you live here in this society, you realize that there is no American dream here. Not for us. You know what I'm saying? So anybody got anything?
I got something.
Go ahead.
This is Sirach 34:1. The hopes of the man void of understanding are vain and false, and dreams lift up fools. And it's actually talking about actual dreams that a person had when they sleep. When you go apply that to the American dream, because you have, some of the tribes, or not even just the tribe, the nation they come from, whatever country they come from, and they come here to chase after the American dream. But America is, is collapsing. So it'll be a bad investment to try to build here in America. And then, even Jake grow up thinking they're gonna go to school, after they finish college, they're gonna have this nice red sports car in their garage in a big house. Which after you graduate from college, you just end up in debt without a job. So the hopes, read again, it's about 34:1. The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false, and dreams lift up fools. Whoso regarded dream is like him that catcheth at his shadow and follow after the wind.
Yeah, and when you follow that, can somebody get Isaiah chapter 30 verse 5? Shot. When you follow after that shadow, man, you're going to end up losing it. You're going to catch that shadow. There was a time in America where it was prosperous. America was very prosperous prior to the Second World War.
Right.
America was really prosperous, and even after the Second World War, America became extremely prosperous. America also has been at war with other nations for more than 2 centuries. You know what I'm saying? If you ever look it up on the internet, how long has America been at war? I think it was like 220 something years. And out of that 220 something years, there might have been like 20 years of so-called peace.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So here it is. This is a place that's constantly at war and at odds with other nations, and even within itself. Okay, so there's no chasing something that's just not attainable. Now, most people, was talking to the brothers that live in Trinidad and Tobago. These brothers, they lived over there, and it was a different way of living, more rural life, more rural living. But then they come to America and they got this city living, and they see that there ain't no dream here. It's not all peaches and creams. It ain't all I just work hard and I receive some type of benefit for my hard work. You're gonna realize that you working pretty much for slave quarters. You know what I'm saying? You're working for the slave rations. Because the cost of living goes up. Whereas in America, my money might be worth a certain amount of money. I don't know what the currency they use in Trinidad, but let's say they had a Trinidad dollar. Obviously, my dollar will be more than their money. So of course, I can do more with my money over there. But if I'm living in this country, it's impossible for me to do more with this currency. I only do but so much. It only goes so far.
Right.
You got it.
You said you're going to Isaiah 35?
Isaiah 30 and 5.
Oh, 30 and 5.
I got it. It's Isaiah chapter 30 verse 5. 1?
Yeah.
Isaiah 30 verse 1. It says, woe to the rebellious children, say the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit.
Yeah, and that when you put on that American hat, when you put on that MAGA hat, when you put on that spirit of America, That's not the spirit of Yahweh Shah. When you put on that spirit of these other nations, and when you put your spirit into these so-called world religions, particularly here in America, the ideologies they have, that's not the spirit of the Lord. You know, you're being rebellious and doing something like that. Read it again.
Right. This is Isaiah 30 verse 1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin."
Right, because all those things that you're doing, they're not helping you alleviate your sins. They're not turning you to righteousness. These different religions, these different philosophies, the American way, that shit, it just keep you adding sin upon sin. Your iniquity just keep mounting in the sight of the Lord. Again, because it's not the spirit of the Most High. You know, when you in the spirit of Yahweh Shai, not saying you're not going to sin because we're in this flesh, but you're cognizant of it. If I was a nigga in the world and I was all about America, I'd be doing the things that Americans do: sodomy, lying, cheating, robbery, murder. All of these things. That's just a name of few. You know what I mean? But the American way is not a way that you should be guided by. We're supposed to cover our spirit under Yahweh Shai. You got it, bro.
Right. So it says that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
And that's what you're doing when you put your eggs in America's basket. You know what I'm saying? You trying to cover yourself and strengthen yourself by the Pharaoh of Egypt, which is Esau Edom. What inspired this whole conversation that we had earlier, I was watching a video about the middle class blacks from like the 60s. It was in the 60s. And Jake was saying basically he would like to have a house in Martha's Vineyard, a summer house in Martha's Vineyard. He would also like to have a yacht and belong to a yacht club. And he said he thinks this way because he's American. He said, I'm not African. I can't think African. So what is the American way? It's abundance, affluence, you know, having more than your heart's desire. This nigga wanted 2 houses. Like, he was really getting it like that. And he probably was a part of that upper class Negro class that we have in America. But the point of the matter is, all he's doing is emulating Esau Edom. And in order to get that, is you got to add wickedness.
Like Don Peebles, the so-called black billionaire. Don Peebles, he like the black Donald Trump. You know, Michael Torton, you got some quick precept?
And it doesn't say one thing, like you read, go to the rebellious people. Now, we break down the word rebellious or the word rebel. The word rebel, you have the word re, which means again or against. And you have rebellion, which means to fight or war. So when you combine the words, it means to fight against or war against or fight again or war again. And that's the spirit of Israel. They war against the Most High. When you bring out the scripture, well, prove to me that the scriptures are true. Prove to me that the Most High exists. Who wrote that book? But at the same breath, they would tell you about the horoscope that man wrote and argue that it's true.
Quick precept. This is Psalms 73 verse 3, and it says, "For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked." Yeah, that's right, it is. And you know, the brother, you know, that's the spirit a lot of our people are. You know what I mean? That American dream, that American way of life. All right. You know, but in all reality, a lot of times in this society, man, you know, to be prosperous, you gotta do some wicked shit, man. All right, and that's what you know, how America was built, man, on wickedness, man. America is really blood money, man, from the ground on up, man. All right, so if you're really trying to make it in this society, man, the so-called American dream, hey, man, you following the ways of the wicked, man. Right, and you see with all these entertainers, all these rappers, all you know what I'm saying, all these so-called businessmen. All right, you gotta do some shiesty, wicked things. You gotta rebel against the Lord. All right, to get this so-called prosperity that you envy, you know, from Esau. You know?
Yeah, and that's why he said, I was foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked.
Right.
Why? Because eventually as you reach down, he realizes that, look, the Lord set these people up to fall.
Right.
When he went into the tabernacle of the Most High, which is the scriptures, his word, then he understood that they had an end. But 2/3 of our people there are completely enamored by the prosperity of Esau. They're like, if he can do it, we can do it. We may have to work a little harder, but look, we can attain the same thing. But we were talking about earlier, a lot of these so-called affluent people of of our nation, them niggas is jacked up. I mean, the brother said that they was living broke. He said they living like month to month. You know what I'm saying? Check to check. You think because they in this big ass palatial mansion that they got it all together, and they don't. You know, Esau don't have to worry about that shit. Jake got to worry about that shit. So now your problems are on a bigger scale. You know,
overhead. The
yeah,
overhead is over their head.
Yeah, way over their head, man. You know, that's why. So I'll get you. That's why I think. Oh, that's something. Yeah.
Isaiah 31 verse 1. Woe unto them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horse and trust in chariots.
Yeah, and that's that woe meaning destruction on you that trusted in Egypt and go down there for help. And Jake do that. As soon as some natural disaster happens, you go straight to Esau. You don't think about how about Shai. You don't wonder why did the Lord just do this. You go straight to Esau seeking his help. And where FEMA at. But it's going to end up being your destruction. A great example of that is the MOTV. When it takes hold of this place, it's going to be, I guarantee it's going to be after some nationwide destruction on an economic level, physical level. Something's going to happen, and the people going to run straight to this devil for help. But you're going to be destroyed if you take that shit. You know, you're not going to be free. You know, you're already in captivity. You're already in slavery. See, right now, you have the illusion of freedom. I could go from one state to the next with no problem. I just save my little money up and I'm good. Yeah. You going to different countries and doing all this traveling. But guess what? You got to bring your ass back to the plantation. Whether it's via, I got to go to work on Monday, whether it's only got a certain time on my visa. You know what I mean? You got to bring your ass back home. You can't just go somewhere and stay. In the ancient world, we could go, our forefather Abraham, he left Chaldea and went in the land of Canaan and chilled. He had to chill no paperwork. He left there after a while, then he went to Egypt and chilled. He had to have no paperwork. He had to, nobody said, I gotta go back to Chaldea, I gotta go back to Ur, bro. My time is up. Nah. But see, in this world, this is the kind of captivity we're in. Yo, it's an illusion. You got it, brother.
Woe unto them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on the horse and trust in chariots, because they are many.
And you see that because you see Esau's system. I mean, ain't many. The army's strong. The financial arm is strong right now. You know, regardless of what they say about the dollar, it's still pretty strong in the world market. You know, then you got all the traffic. You see all these chariots out here, man. Anybody can get a car now, man. Shit, it don't matter. You know, so it's like it's the strength. The strength of this place is what enamours people. And they see it, and they're like, well, I'm going to put my trust in this place. Well, if you do that, you're going to be destroyed. Yeah.
And in their horsemen, because they are very strong.
Yeah. We're talking about that military. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about their system. Because a horse is power. And those that control it are the horsemen. You know? So you, like we telling you the system going to collapse. Nobody listens to us. They're going to be like, what you know, man? I'm at the end of the system. We just invested $20 trillion in some bullshit. So we know we're going to make it. You know, but nah, man, it really is going to collapse. It's really going to collapse, and then all that shit you did to try to get those ducats is going to be for naught, man. It's not going to help you. That house, that $1 million house that you just bought, or that house on Martha's Vineyard that you invested in 60, 40 years ago, whatever. Guess what's going to happen? It's going to be burned the fuck up. You ain't getting no insurance check for that because you ain't going to be here to get insurance check. You're going to be destroyed. Right along with it. You look at these, because America is vast. So if you look at this place from a world view, you're like, damn, how can this happen? But it is gonna happen. You got it.
But they look onto the Holy One of Israel, not on the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. That's it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, read that portion again.
It says, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord.
And that's what we're saying. They're not looking towards the Holy One of Israel. They're not looking to Yahweh Shai. They're not trying to seek the Lord. Niggas is like, nah, my job is going to deliver me. I just invested this. Niggas like, nah, my investments, what is it called? Forex? My Forex.
Oh, yeah, foreign exchange.
Yeah, that shit's going to deliver me. Look, I got tons of money right now. I can go go in my suitcase and pull out a handful of cash.
I'm investing in indexes, and that's the U.S. economy. You know, Dow Jones or U.S. 30 on the forex market.
Yeah. So all that future shit, all that, but there ain't no future for this place. Right. You know, not for us. You got it.
I got something. Well, I got two for you, right? This is Sirach 10 and 12. It says, the beginning of pride is when one depart from the Most High.
And that's what you see. Because now, it's like everything that I got, everything that I have, everything that I am, it's not because of the Lord. It's because of me. I worked hard. I don't want to sacrifice. I did this. That's pride. You leave your maker, and then not only that, you leave your maker to go worship an idol. Some shit that somebody made with their hand and some dirty ass backwards somewhere. And now you're like, oh, this is my God. Instead of you worshiping Yahweh Shai, you want to worship Ali Akbars. You want to worship Jesus Christus. You want to do all this weirdo shit, and you want to attribute all your blessings and all the things that are pleasing unto you to that. Well, that's the beginning of pride. You got it.
When something happens, they trust in the government to help them rather than call on the Most High first.
Yeah.
And the Most High see that as pride.
Yeah.
For it said the beginning of pride is one depart from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his Maker.
Yeah.
That's you going into trust in Egypt, right? Yeah. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it shall pour out abomination. And there,
I'm sorry, I was about to say Slocky. America is all about pride, man. You got it.
And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrow them utterly.
So that's the reason why we were destroyed time after time again. Because what we did was we were leaving our maker. It was a time where the Lord showed us mercy. We could just all get together and then we repent for a minute, that generation. Then they come to these other niggas, they like, fuck that. And they go right back to the shit that we just got out of. And the Lord got tired of that. So now we in the condition that we in today. We had to suffer all that we suffered for a long time without being able to call on our Lord. Now we got the name of the Lord. Jakes don't even want to adhere to it. It's like, nah, I ain't trying to hear that. Can you read that portion again?
Right, Sirach 10 and 13. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it shall pour out abomination.
Yeah, so it says pride is the beginning of sin. He that have it shall pour out abomination. And you see that when somebody get in that prideful spirit, now nothing but abominations come out of their mouth. Now their behavior, their actions exhibit nothing but. Look, we in Pride Month. We literally in Pride Month.
They promote pride here. You ever walk past Columbia University? They have multiple graduations during the month. When in the summertime, you see how proud they are with their caps and gowns.
And then on top of that, you got this whole ABC agenda, and it's like it's just a bunch of people doing whatever they want to do. That shit, that sodomy spirit makes them feel good. In their mind, God created them this way, and He loves them, so they can just do whatever they want. That's pride, man. That's complete pride, man. And what is that? Abominations. Man with man, woman with woman, animals with men and women. Pedophilia, all that shit. And that transistor shit. All of that is an abomination. And you'll do that. And even if you're not on the sodomy tip, you got Jake out here that's killing each other and because they're so prideful, man. Oh, nigga stepped on my shoes, nigga, who the fuck is you? Wow, take this man's life for no reason.
You're on my block.
Yeah, you're on my block, you on my strip. You know what I'm saying? No communication skills. He just, I just want to do what I want to do. So now you feel like you got the authority to take somebody's life. Now, granted, it might be that man or woman's judgment. That's how that happened. But the point of the matter is still, nigga, you did it.
Yeah.
And the Lord allowed you to do it, so now you're going to be judged for it.
Two birds with one stone.
2 birds with 1 stone all the time.
This is car commercial that always come up on the radio of this car dealership, and their slogan is, "If we can't get you approved, God can't. God can." And every time that shit comes on, man, that shit it make my blood boil. But that's why it says for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it to pour out abomination. And that's a something abominable to say.
Yeah.
And it sounds like one of the Latin tribes saying, like, you can't see their face because it's on the radio, but it sounds like a Latin tribe. And every time I hear that, I'm like, man, most I gotta kill them niggas, destroy that fucking company. But that's America. That shit is allowed in America. In the ancient times, somebody would have said that shit, man, they had been rolling towards somebody else's foot, man. But that's wicked. Let me read it almost like here. For the pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrow them utterly. The Lord had cast down the thrones of proud princes.
Yeah, you see that? You see what he did to Nebuchadnezzar? You see what he did to all those, Alexander the Great, all his, Antiochus Epiphanes. Yeah, he fucked them people up, man. He took them all up, man. Because I think Nebuchadnezzar said he was the god of the universe, man. He was the god of the universe or something like that. Or the king of the universe, man. And the Most High turned that thing into an animal.
Look what happened during the Roman Empire, year of 4 emperors. Galba, Otho, Vitellius, and Domitian. Vespasian, I mean. Galba, Otho, Vitellius, and Vespasian, the year of 4 emperors. They all, some of them wasn't on a throne for like a month.
Yeah.
They was getting exiled, and Vespasian, he was a victor of them.
Yeah.
And it says, and set up the meat in their stead.
Yeah, which is who the meek, the lowly, the poor. That's who we're going to be part of the elect. That's who we're going to be a part of, man. Because we're the low, we're the meek, and the Lord always take these proud people out, man. He hates pride, man. The scripture says pride was not made for man. It wasn't made for us because you didn't create nothing. You didn't do nothing. You were created. Nothing that we have even belongs to us. Like we live in a perpetual winner's life, man.
Right.
It was provided to us from our power, and then we were tasked to, look over and watch over while we are here. And we have to teach others to do the same thing when we're gone.
Right.
So it don't belong to you. So how can you be proud over something? Like even though the scriptures do tell us that the earth was made for our sake, we know that it's the Yahweh Shem Hashai ultimately, man.
One last one. Proverbs 29 and 23. A man's pride should bring him low, but honor should uphold the humble in spirit.
Yeah, it is. A man's pride always bring him low. But honor, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say real quick that the word honor and honest share the same root word. Right. So to have honor is really to be honest. It's really the same word.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say.
Yeah, so can you read it again?
Proverbs 29 and 23. A man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit.
Yeah, honor is going to uphold the humble in spirit, man. And you see it. And look at Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? He was super humble, man. His humility was unmatched. And brothers, after him, showed the same humility. Because at the end of the day, again, we didn't create ourselves. We didn't create anything. So what do we have to be proud of? Right. But that pride that you have will eventually bring you low. I remember years ago I was listening to State Property, and that nigga, his name Pete Crack said that in the song. I remember he said, don't let the pride, basically said, don't let the pride fool you, man. Because Jay could get in that pocket where they hella pride, like they just unstoppable. And then you see eventually that nigga get brought low. Right. And now what's happening? Or pride, before is it pride coming before fall?
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18, it says, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall.
There you go. So America is headed for a huge destruction. Now this hella pride. And it says a haughty spirit before a fall, man. So I had this real quick. This is off. I had posted it in the description box. It's from an article called TheMedium.com. So the American dream is a nightmare, and I went out. This is from 2020, and then they got a picture of New York in the back. Throughout history, Brooklyn Bridge. It says throughout history, people have been told that America was the land of opportunity with portrayals in films, television shows, and books. People are sold on the country's idea of achieving success with hard work, tenacity, sacrifice, and risk-taking. We've all heard the saying along the lines as long as you keep working, you can move up in life. We were just talking about, go to college and you can get any job you want.
Yeah. Nothing could stop me. I'm all the way up. This is Sirach 10 and 9. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not there is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. For such and one setteth his own soul to sell, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels.
Yeah, because all we are earth to ashes, man. When this spirit can no longer live in this body, which is a house, it goes right back to the ground where it came from. Okay, so you don't need to be proud, but then you got niggas that's covetous. I mean, that pride breeds covetousness. Not only do you want something, you want something that somebody else has. You know, and you'll do whatever it takes to get that. You'll kill them, you'll commit adultery on them, you'll steal, you'll lie, you'll cheat. You see? And that's nothing more worse than that, than a man that's in that kind of spirit, man. And that's the spirit they teach you to be in America, man. That's why you watch TV. A lot of shit that Jake want, you didn't even think about that shit until you saw it. You know, now I want that he got. I want what he got. I want that. We all like chariots. Chariots are nice, they're cool. But the higher level you get in chariots, man, that maintenance on that motherfucker, and then the little bills you gotta pay every month for the registration, and all that shit go up. But Jake don't see that. You just want to see yourself in the car. It's like life is a rap video. We all got seduced and enticed like that.
Certain cars are oil changes 20 G's.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And if you ain't got 20 G's to change that oil, which has to be changed like around about every 3,000 miles, and then you done. And then those cars, you can't let just an oil change just lapse, because it'll fuck up the rest of the car. Now you got more problems. And that's any car, really. But them high-end cars, they do that. It's set for people that have it. But the point of the matter is that we've been sold an illusion. You know, again, that American dream. But in reality, let's say you even touch the dream, the so-called dream, the reality hits in. It sets in. This ain't what I thought it was going to be. You know? Go ahead. Okay. So real quick, it says we've all heard sayings along the lines, as long as you keep working, you can move up in life, or go to college and you can get any job you want. But you know, college students ain't even getting jobs like that. However, as I move into my early 30s of age, the idea of America being the greatest country in the world seems more like a farce, a day after day. And it's true. Case in point, there is no such thing as the American dream, but rather a nightmare that I can't wake up from. You see? And it's the truth, because you stuck here. You born here, you live here, you die here, man. And if you come here, become a citizen here, you will die here, man. Because that's how it is. They're going to work you into the ground. Ain't no more picket fences and white houses and trips. It used to be a time in America, one man could have a job, bring the proverbial bacon home. His wife didn't have to work. His kids just went to school. And this was for Esau. And he can take a vacation. Nigga had retirement coming. He had all kinds of shit. Now, they take you live in a household, and there's 3 people in that household, all 3 people need to be working, including the baby.
I was on a meeting, a councilwoman in Harlem for District 9, Kristen Richardson Jordan. They was basically, one of her, the organizers. One of her organizers was like, AI taking over all the jobs. Pretty soon, even driving jobs.
Yeah.
They trying to, pretty much do away with manual labor. Yeah,
it's the truth. And at the end of the day, man, we moving into this technocracy where even what's that nigga Noah Harari said that 90-something% of the population are going to be useless because they're going to need them. You know. So again, this has been. That's all y'all have, brothers. Anybody have any other shit?
Yeah, I got.
I was just gonna get Michael to it.
Yeah, bring it out, man. That's good. That's a good precept to end it on. Bring out what you got, Elder.
Proverbs 27:1. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, but thou knowest not what a day may bring forth.
That's right. You just be like, yo, man, tomorrow I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Man, never say Lord willing. You don't know if you're even gonna be here tomorrow. You don't even know your finances is gonna be the same way it was tomorrow as it is today. Anything can happen, an accident, something happen. With Jake, there's always some shit going on, man. So it's like, real, like you can't put your mindset like that. It's day to day.
Yeah, my building might be, my house, my apartment might be burnt up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
And I got this to back that up. Ecclesiastes 9:12. For a man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net.
And as, you got it, bro.
And as the birds that are caught in the snare, so are the sons of men snared in an evil time when it falleth suddenly upon them.
Yeah, because when these fishes is in that water, they don't even realize the net is there sometimes. And they just swimming, might be the same trap they swimming. And then next thing you know, bam, they caught in that thing, and now they all going frantic. Now they all going crazy. And it's the same way it's going to happen when the Lord comes back. It's the same way it's going to happen when this economy collapses and be destroyed. The only ones that's really prepared is the aristocracy on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. The aristocracy on the right-hand side is the hopeful elect, the elect men. You know, we put our mindset and gearing it up for the fall of this place. And the super elite, they doing it being carnal ways. They have bunkers, they got all kinds of food storage and shit. They ready for it, they got weapons. You know, but the people in the middle, them niggas don't, you ain't ready, man. So, yeah, that's it.
This is Micah chapter 2, verse 10. And it says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest.
Message.
Yeah, right, exactly. You know, and you know, going into, you know, a lot of these jakes out here, they think they got something going on, man. But guess what? This ain't your rest, man. Even if you're getting money in this society, so-called, it's not all cracked up what it seemed to be, man. All right? So that's why, in reality, we have to depart from it spiritually, you know what I mean? All right? We don't have to move anywhere, but just get it in your mind, hey, man, that American dream, this shit is about to crash, man. All right? Ain't no future in this place, man. All right? And it says, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you even with a sword destruction. So you thinking about the ways of this world, you maneuvering in this philosophy of the so-called white man, guess what, man? You and him are gonna be destroyed, man. All right. So it's for us, for our people, you know what I mean, to get your priorities straight, man. All right. Come back to serving the Lord, because that's the whole duty of man. That's what we're really supposed to be doing. All right. That's our main goal, man. Because our people, the whole duty of man is to serve the Lord. Our people out here serving the basis of men.
Yes, right.
You feel me? And it's and that is gonna lead to your destruction, man.
What's up?
All right, so with that, you know, we're going to give all praises due to the Most High.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rabakadash.
All right, until next time.
Hey, shalom.
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 Shalom.